light refreshment, there's a little light repairs for the gentleman. A good mechanical brain and an ability to take positive action are among the requirements of the sport. But it isn't merely a divide between big bangers and big bucks. The class where basic principles of quality racing apply, where maintenance is very simple and the restrictions rigidly enforced, is the 1300cc stock cars. Keith Hewan talked to a newcomer and an experienced driver in this class.
Steve, 1300 stock cars, new formula to bring in the novices and new guys like yourself. It seems to have been very successful.
Yeah, it's been gone well. Yeah, I've gone from white, had a couple of 3 months, and picked up a few points, just went straight into the blues. Yeah, it's been going well really.
I think you've been quite modest there because actually your rise through the colours has been quite dramatic, hasn't it?
Well, I've had a bit of trouble on the way, hit the fence a few times quite hard, but I just appear at every meeting.
I started a long time ago. This is my 16th season, one way or another. We've done the hot rods. I was fairly competitive in the hot rods, and then they started to get a bit expensive. And to be truthful, we spend very little. I mean, this is really a self-built car. The Carcraft guys actually put all the steel around it for us. And then my family, my two brothers, they do most of the stuff, and I just go out and do loads of overtime, pay for the bits. But the whole car, the engine and everything else, it stands around £800, the whole lot, including the wheels and the tyres.
And the cost involved in this? Quite low?
I would say I hadn't actually had an engine built by someone because I can't build engines. Cost me about £800, completely done.
Tyres, Malcolm, there seems to be a bit of a trick ruling here as well.
Well, to try and keep everybody even and give no fair advantage to any particular person, Speedwith have actually introduced a company that actually make a tyre for us. They're relatively cheap, they're about £23. Every car that runs in our formula runs the same tyre, and just to make sure, they're actually moulded with Speedwith stock cars on. So everybody runs the same, so that cuts down on the advantage to any one particular person. My theory on stock car racing is to get obviously from the back to the front. I try not to, if I come up behind the lower grade guys, because I haven't been racing so long, what we try and do is make enough space for us to get by without putting them too far offline, so they keep running in the race, get some experience, and obviously as they come further back through the ranks, like Steve's done, it's a bit more difficult to get by. You have to give them a slightly bigger push, and as long as that stays in, I mean, the cars are fairly relatively easy to repair. If the damage keeps down, it's not too bad. The idea really is to spin people out, give the crowd something to look at, and not so much damage. Then at the end of the day, because we get 3 races a night usually, wherever we're racing, you get as many cars out in the final, and after all, the crowd come in to pay to watch and be entertained, and that's what we like to try and do.
Well, the pace car taking them around on their warm-up lap for this first ever running of the Stockcars British Championship. And when I say Stockcars, I mean this new formula, 1300cc engine size Stockcars. The formula is now only about a year old. We've so far had a national championship and an East Anglian championship. In 1992 they were won by Bruce Wilcox in the 500 car, who's out there today, and the national championship earlier this year went to Frank Tillo in the 56 car, so it'd be interesting to see maybe how either of those two fare. But this is the first actual running of the British Championship, and it's looking already as if it's going to be a little bit hectic. And with most of these contact formulas, there's a little bit of pushing and shoving and settling down in the early stages. 197 is the leader. 373 is second, then 53 and 102 and 9 and 54 is the way they go. That's the sort of problem, and as you can see, that's a major problem for 197 Pete Dodge, because he was our leader and he is now well and truly out of this race. He's not going to go a lot further, and of course Peter Dodge is a former world champion in the junior mini stocks class and has now moved up to the stock cars. 373 is some way clear, about 30 yards ahead of the 53 car of Lyndon Limbury. And that big pile-up that we saw that took the early leader out happened rather like this. There's Peter Dodge just in behind 54. Now, was he pushed or did he jump? Let's have a little look. Ah, that's the culprit. Those two go across in front of him, a little clip, and he heads straight for the fence and crash bang wallop, and you've got 5 cars all out in one go. 416 has now moved up into second place, Mark Smith from Yarmouth. 309 is running in third place, Mark Chipling from Woking. So that's our 1, 2, 3. There's Mark Chipling. And there's 416. They're second and third, and the leader, oops, back end on 416, hung out a bit far, and he's left the door open. 309's going to go through. He's got the advantage of the inside as they now come to this bend. And he duly takes the advantage, as indeed he ought. And right behind those two is Malcolm Foskett. And you can see right in front of him he's got the second and third place men, because 148 indeed at the moment is running fourth. And there we are, that's the battle we've just been watching. Mark Chipling, then 416, and then 148 is where we were watching from just now, as 148 in fact moves up on the inside of 416 and moves up one more place. A quick change of gear there as he brings it into this bend. Back marker moves right across in front of him. A little shunt might be required here to get him out the way. Yeah, that's a back marker. Wallop he goes. Meanwhile, he's getting a lot of attention from behind as well. A really hectic race this one, Graham, but much more in the stock car tradition.
Yes, and while they carry on hitting each other like that, there's every possibility for the leader to run away. But Mark Chipling is in fact moving up on the 373 car at the moment, and Mark Chipling used to specialise in picking up championships for the 2-litre stock cars. He could be on his way to another one here.
And in fact, yes, exactly as you were speaking, 309 Mark Chipling has really done great things. 373 got himself in a bit of a mess there, went very wide, but it's 309 who is the clear leader now. And 373 has just gone. There's 373. That's our second place man going out into the safety fence with that 125 back marker. 309 is still there and still going well, but there's a car stuck right in the middle of the start and finish straight that is going to get in the way in a moment or two when the leaders come round. Here comes 309, and there's the car, the 297 car of Richard Carter is stuck right in the middle, and the red flag has gone out because the driver seems unable to get out. Maybe he's hurt. That's the cause of the stoppage, and because we're within the last 5 laps, in fact there were 3 more laps to go, that will be the end of the race, and I'm sure that 309 Mark Chipling will be declared the winner.
And that was indeed the way this first British Championship finished, rather prematurely, with Mark Chipling of Woking, the new champion, ahead of Mark Smith of Yarmouth, Bruce Wilcox of Needham Market.